Gone Home is a first-person exploration game, walking simulator, developed and published by the Fulbright Company, available on the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So, before we really delve into the experience that is Gone Home, let me take a minute to explain why I wanted to make this video. First off, I got the game for free, and secondly, because I'd always heard two different extremes in terms of opinions on the game. On one hand, a large amount of journalists highly praised the game seemingly endlessly, and Polygon even gave it Game of the Year for 2013. On the other hand, many gamers vilified the game, stating that it's not a game at all and that the story was pretentious hipster crap. Hearing both of these constantly for years has finally urged me to play, or experience, the game for myself. I did my damnedest to enter this game unbiased and with an open mind, and, well, you'll see in the videos we progress. I'll be talking about many of the various aspects of the game, so if you want to experience it for yourself, then I suggest doing so before watching this video. This is your only spoiler warning. So without further ado, let's take a look at Gone Home. The game begins with a phone call that you, Caitlin, made to your parents, informing them of your arrival at the airport and reinforcing the idea that they don't have to retrieve you. You'll just take a shuttle. You arrive at your parents' house and it's storming. As you make your way towards the front door, you encounter a letter written by your younger sister Sam, and it's directed towards you. The note informs you that your sister has run away for then unknown reasons, and without a car, a phone, and answers, you proceed to scour the house for clues. This is where the game officially begins. I want to talk about the gameplay. You can use WASD to move around. The left mouse button picks up or opens objects. Right mouse button and shift zooms in or allows Caitlin to get a better look at the objects that she picks up. You can press tab to see objects on your person and, well, this is pretty much the extent of the control, and hey, that's perfectly fine. You can still have a very solid game with limited controls, but let me elucidate. This isn't really a game. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a program that you can launch on your computer or game console, but there's no real failure state. You can control a character, but there's no real challenge or real critical thinking involved in navigating the world. This game sits squarely in the walking simulator category, but it's nowhere near as monotonous as Dear Esther, nor as pretentious, but we'll get to that. As well, though, it's not as entertaining as games such as Journey or Myst. And let me stress the fact that I said entertaining and not fun. This will be important later too. So let me explain exactly what the gameplay at Gone Home entails. So you do play as Caitlin, the older sister of the Greenbrier family. You search the house for clues by reading notes, searching through drawers, and basically being a nosy prick. But I think that this is probably my favorite aspect about the game. Although this is your family, you're essentially a stranger rooting through other people's lives. The curiosity of snooping through others' personal effects is weirdly satisfying in its own regard. But unfortunately, the game doesn't reward you with anything. At least nothing that appeals to me. In another game, you could use the information you've gathered to leverage yourself against an NPC, use it to complete a quest, or to locate or retrieve an item, and so on and so forth. In this game, you don't get the option to confront your mother for her promiscuous ways. You don't get to confront your parents about their lack of understanding about their children. You don't get to talk sense into your sister who ran away. You simply have the information. I understand from reading interviews with the game's designer Steve Gaynor that he and the team seem to be a lot more interested in the aspect of environmental storytelling, rather than the application of putting what you learn about the story to good use, or really any use for that matter. This is my biggest grievance against Gone Home because, and hear me out guys because I'm about to praise Gone Home. The environmental storytelling is pretty damn good. For the most part, I feel like finding clues throughout the house is great. I love scouring the environment for bits and pieces of clues here and there. I like noticing this plaque under your family portrait and thinking, that's weird, plaques don't usually put mom and dad if it's a family portrait. And finding out later that your sister Sam made that plaque in shop class, and was docked points in her grade because she put the words mom and dad on there. I love finding out that your parents are planning to go out for a week to celebrate their anniversary, but if you're attentive, you'll notice a pamphlet for a retreat for couples therapy set for the same week. I love being able to move objects to find other more important items throughout the house. One part even left me uneasy. Did someone die? Oh, they did. It's hair dye. Ha ha. A few parts to this felt a little too easy, though, which is a funny thing to say because there's virtually no challenge in Gone Home, but they diminish that even further in a few spots. Take, for instance, your dad's office and library. I see his cabinet's locked, and I'm hoping that the game will make me actually find out information about my father, maybe? Maybe the combination is his birthday, or maybe it's something a little more significant. Your father seems to be incredibly interested in JFK. Could it be related? No, the combination is 0451. You find it in an obvious folder at the end of your dad's library. 0451 is an homage to games such as Deus Ex, System Shock, and Bioshock. 0451 is a common code used in those games, first by Deus Ex, by the way. And listen, guys, I get it. Homages are cool and references are cool, but allowing for critical thinking, it does not. And it's not like this game is littered with doors or locked safes that the developers could use to randomly throw in combinations for. This game only has a few combinations, and they're basically given to you. In a game like, say, Bioshock or Deus Ex, it feels fine that you might be able to scrounge up the code to a locked something and it not feel cheap, because the game is backed up by so much more gameplay. You're rewarded with weapons or ammo, or you're allowed to proceed. Making the few locked containers in the game be easy as shit might dissuade some people from playing, but man, come on, give the game a bit more substance. Make me work for it. Make me have to take some time to research what the combination might be, instead of just plastering it on the side of a folder with big obvious numbers, or telling me that I have it when I pick up 2 ticket stubs. The only other combination in the game is a bit better, but it's really obvious still. Guys, Skyrim. Fucking Skyrim of all games has more in-depth combination discovery than this game. You actually have to examine items you pick up, or read the obvious book in the room, or read your environment to be able to proceed. It's still easy as fuck in Skyrim, and if you're anyone but a bell curve outlier, then you should be able to discern the answer. I'll be fair though and say that the whole game isn't like this, but the ones that are there annoy me. Like, oh hey, there's a cassette player here. I bet there's a cassette tape. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Aside from these couple of examples though, the environmental storytelling and exploratory aspect of the game is really good, like I said. In a bigger game, you wouldn't get half of what you get in this game. If a new Deus Ex game came out, because, let's be fair, the new one's not that great, if it had this level of exploration for most buildings, I'd feel almost like a detective. And that's pretty much it for the gameplay. You rummage around here and there, read some crumpled notes, experience the atmosphere, and eventually the game ends.
But she's been rehearsing with them for like a week now.
Let's talk about the atmosphere. It's pretty good for the most part. The game's graphics aren't anything amazing, and I occasionally get frame drops for no real reason, but this house is well furnished. Every room feels like someone has been there, like real people were there. Except the bathrooms, there's no mirrors. I guess they weren't invented until 1996. I was somewhat apprehensive at first because the initial front room that you enter seems too clean, but as you move along, every room and living area feels accurately cluttered and furnished, with trash laying here and there, books and magazines strewn about various tables and on other sorted furnishings. There's a ton of light sources and physics objects that you can interact with. Hell, there's even pens strewn about drawers. I read or listened to some people nitpick that seeing the same tissue box in one room or the next was disappointing. But if you buy the same brand, you'll probably get the same box, right? I know you can buy tissues and have them come in various designs in real life, but who cares? I guess the developers could have made 3 more textures for the tissue boxes, but I'm honestly glad that there's even boxes to pick up. The resonating sounds of thunder shaking the house and the soft patter of rain lends itself well to the dark atmosphere of the empty home, even if I think the rain sounds a bit low quality, but it's not a big deal. The lights flicker with seemingly ominous intent, providing you with a bit of unease until you find out that it's not due to the hauntings of some otherworldly specter. And you find that out real quick. For the most part, the atmosphere is really good. I almost get a Resident Evil vibe from it. And then your sister starts to talk.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school. And there I am.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up!
Your sister Sam is voiced by Sarah Grayson, who's worked on previous titles such as Dragon Age Inquisition, and I honestly think she does a good job. She really does sound like a whiny, rebellious teenager with no grasp on reality. And I should know. I keep them in my shed. Whoa, hey, what's going on with the video? Just skip ahead, guys. Don't watch this part.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal. Well, speak of the devil. What's that? I can't hear you. Oh, you want to talk, huh? Well, I'll take this off, but you have to promise not to bite anymore, okay? And don't run away.
Please let me go. Please let me go. I swear I won't tell anyone.
Don't raise your voice now. I will let you go. I just need you to do something for me. I need you to do something for me. I need you to play a game.
A game?
Yeah, I just need you to play a game, and then I'll let you go.
You want me to play a game?
Yeah. We'll just play a game, and I'll let you leave.
Huh, that was weird. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm not a big fan of the narration for a couple of reasons. I already said that I hate her whiny voice, but the other reason is because I hate audio logs. And the way the narration works in this game is you pick up an important object, and Sam exposits information about her current grievance with the world. It's basically an audio log. Game developers seem to want to cram it into every goddamn game nowadays. I don't mind it so much if it makes some sense in the context of the world you're in, like in System Shock or Bioshock, or hell, even the new Mad Max has audio logs. But those are just Max talking to himself about the way the world used to be, and him longing for the past. I really think that this is a trend that needs to stop, because I see it as an easy excuse for developers to add backstory to a game world, or as an easy way to pad out gameplay hours. I wouldn't care so much if many of these audio logs were actually useful. Unlike in, say, Just Cause 3, where you have fucking audio logs from the main villain, and all it is him saying, "Look at me, I am evil, I stab people in the back." If a game provides information via audio logs to, say, help you progress through a level or hint at some hidden cache, then hey, that's cool, that's fine. And I'm going off on a tangent here, and I'll probably make a video about audio logs later. Now, I don't like the audio logs for two reasons, so let me explain. First off, it doesn't make sense in the world of Gone Home for you to be hearing these various bits of dialogue. 99% of the game is reading notes, examining objects, and discerning parts of the story through exploration. There's no reason for you to be hearing Sam speak. She doesn't have recordings on a cassette tape, which would have given these audio logs a physical reason to exist, but no, you just hear all of this in your head when you pick up a note or some other stupid shit. I don't like it. I think it takes away from the atmosphere that the developers built for this game. The second reason that I don't like these audio logs is because they're insidious. None of the audio logs in the game feature any of the other characters throughout. You don't get to hear Mom or Dad talk about their problems. It's all about Sam. I see this as the developers trying to steer the audience more towards Sam and away from the other characters. I'm sure that the audience that this game is targeted towards is closer to Sam's age than the parents anyways. Might as well get them to latch onto her. Oh, your dad is failing to get his book published and is struggling as an author. Yeah, but Sam doesn't have any friends. Your mom might be having an affair with a guy named Rick. Sure, but who cares? Sam went to a concert. Your uncle is kinda sketchy and might have done some pretty unsavory things to your father? That doesn't matter. Because Sam is a lesbian, and her parents just don't get it. There's a lot of backstory for almost every character in this family, but the game wants you to focus on Sam. Now, this is just me, because I don't care about Sam's story, but I wish that the developer had just not included Sam's narration. I get just focusing on one character to tell a story that you want to tell, but they tell the other parts of the story, well enough. I don't know why the developers didn't just let the player take away what they wanted from the game, instead of pushing this generic teenage rebellion no one understands me story. I mean, you could still have the story, and I'm sure that a lot of people would identify with or appreciate it. I just didn't.
But then she said she's always really wanted to see the Psycho House.
I guess we'll use this time to go over a bit more of the story, but first, I'm gonna say that I think it's told well, for the most part at least. It's just that the majority of it isn't very interesting. I already basically knew what the big plot point of the story was, but if I went into the game when it was first launched, I'd probably think that something horrible happened to this family. Like, maybe Sam went psycho and turned serial killer and chopped up her whole family. Well, it can't be something that interesting, because the game starts giving you a few mundane hints as to why the house is empty. This might be because I'm a nosy prick, but I loved being able to find out about people by reading their private letters, rooting through their belongings, examining their rooms, reading what others have to say about them, etc. This game reminds me of the old adage, you can tell a lot about a person from their trash. And Gone Home is just that, trash. Oh, I mean to say it does more than that. I found it interesting to be able to go through a room and get to know a person. Find out that your father's a struggling author is neat, filling in the details about his obsession with JFK, the many, many bottles of alcohol that populate his living spaces, although I don't blame him. Honestly, it's pretty damn great, and the only thing I think ruins it is the narration from your sister. Wait, let me rephrase that. The only thing that I think ruins it is your sister. I'm just gonna flat out say it, I don't like Sam. At first she seemed like the typical outcast with little to no friends, probably gets bullied, yada yada, who hasn't been there? Pretty quickly you start finding out some things about her. After she moves to her new home, she distances herself from her old friend from her previous neighborhood. Emotionally, not just physically. Now, listen, you don't have to stay friends with the people you used to live near. You can completely drop them from your life if you want. That's okay. What's not okay is what Sam does. She pushes away her old friend for no real reason. He's just a weirdo, I guess. But then she starts using him for his things. She borrows his NES just because he has one. Honestly, after I started hearing about a lot of the selfish things she's done, my indifference towards Sam started to accelerate to an intense discontent. Discontents, if you will. Sam's story is really painfully generic. She's a generic rebellious teenage outcast whose parents oppose her generic teenage relationship, and her love interest is moving away after high school. As if that never happens. And then they decide to run away together. Two lovers decide to run away together. Holy shit, that's a masterpiece. Oh, I guess it is. It's not like I haven't seen all of these cliches and stories aimed at young, impressionable adults before. If you've watched television or read a book in the past 20 years, more than likely, you've probably run into these exact scenarios. The only difference here is that Sam's a lesbian. That's what all the hubbub's about. Almost everyone nowadays seems to want to focus on people's sex or sexual preferences. I really don't give a shit. People's sexual orientation doesn't appeal to me unless you're giving me some. Then I might either be concerned or pleasantly surprised. But I think that focusing on sexual preference is a sign of a weak personality. If all you have is whatever new gender you've created, then what's that say about you, huh? Don't get me wrong, I don't mind weirdos, but at least be fun with it. Much like a penis, most people don't like it when you shove it in everyone's face. Anyways, some might argue and say, "But Eon, the story is more than just a generic love story about a rebellious teenager. It's an intense character piece that includes the lives of your mother, father, and deceased uncle, too." And to that I would say, you're absolutely correct. But if the game itself didn't try to make you focus on Sam so goddamn much, then I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. Hell, I wouldn't have any problem with it. But in just about every room, every single corner of the house, Sam leaves some sort of trace. She's pervasive. Not only that, but she is all of the audio logs. Almost everything in Gone Home loops back towards Sam. And the ending, oh god, the ending, it's not horrible, it's as boring as the rest of Sam's story. I already knew the ending because the game's been out for years now, but I was still hoping that it was a joke, and that I'd find Sam's body hanging in the attic. Well, if I take anything from the story, it's that life is disappointing. Since the game does focus on Sam's story, I wanted to say that I'm not completely convinced about the reasons as to why she ran away. Okay, I get it, she wanted to be with her lover and her parents basically ignored her homosexuality. Her parents aren't the most attentive to her needs, etc., etc. Teenagers feel the need to run away for a variety of reasons. They're being pressured at school due to bullying or the work itself. Their parents might be neglectful or beat them. They themselves might have some sort of addiction problem, or all of the above. Some teens run away because they came out to their parents, and usually their parents' reactions can fuel their desire to leave. A few stories that I've read about people running away after coming out as gays, it's mostly kids who have parents who are extremely religious or actually are homophobic and push them away forcefully. I'm not going to defend Sam's parents, because they basically told her that she's wrong and ignored her problems, but they did nothing near that level of abuse. Sam's motivation for running away seems to be less, I'm gay and my parents hate me, and more, I'm in love and my parents don't want me making any rash decisions, but I will anyway. This story would be exactly the same whether Sam's lover was a boy or a girl. Lonnie and... oh, that's Sam's lover's name, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but I don't really care. Anyways, Lonnie could have been Lenny. And the story would be exactly the same crap it already is. If someone tells you that Gone Home's story is good, ask them why. If they say it's because it's a neat character piece that allows you to discover your family's life through exploration of personal belongings, then they might be okay. If they say it's good because your sister is a lesbian, then they're probably a hipster millennial. Don't listen to this person's taste because they'll just recommend their favorite fanfiction on Tumblr.
Oh my god!
Well, I don't want to pick this game apart room by room because that would basically be a let's play, and most of everything is mundane anyways, so I'm just gonna end this video here. Let me recap though. Gone Home has a neat setting with some really nice atmosphere, but it's held back by lack of gameplay mechanics in the story. And the mechanics that are there are simplified to the point of near uselessness. The main skills you need for this game are patience and the ability to read. If you got through middle school, then you can get through this too. Most of the story isn't bad, it's just boring. Except the story the game wants you to pay attention to, that's bad. The sound design is pretty nice and adds to the overall atmosphere, but it's hardly a reason to get this game. The only reason to get this game is if you really like snooping through other people's things, and trust me, that's a lot more fun to do in real life anyways. If you're looking for an amazing story about the strifes and hardships of an average family, then this isn't it, because it's boring. A lot of the story is told well and isn't very in your face about it. It's somewhat interesting to discover your parents' various troubles, but that's about it. I'm gonna come out and say that I didn't have fun with this game. I didn't enjoy myself. Some would say that not all games have to have space marines and thousands of rounds of ammunition. You can enjoy a game without the fun. It's more of an experience. And to that I say, fuck you. Yeah, you're right, you don't need the same old shit to have fun. But you should at least have something interesting in your $20 piece of computer software. Many people go to see horror movies to get scared. That's not always everyone's cup of tea. But I'm sure that almost everyone can agree that a horror movie should be, in some sense, scary. This game is listed as an adventure exploration story game. So where's the adventure, huh? This ain't no Princess Bride. This game isn't worth $20, maybe one at most. And well, that's basically it, I guess. I don't have anything else to say about Gone Home. There's not a lot here. Like, subscribe, who gives a shit? The next game will also feature a strong independent women who don't need no man. But it's actually good.
Wow. That was really...
Really shitty, huh?
Yeah, it was so boring, and your sister was so annoying, and well, I don't sound like that, do I?
Well, I mean, you do a little bit, but that's not important. What's important is that I use you as an example.
No, wait, I did what you asked.
Shut up, I'm not gonna kill you, okay? I just need you as a token woman to tell everyone why this game's shit.
So, what do you want from me?
I need you to tell everyone why this game's bad. It's more credible if it comes from a woman. I mean, it'd be better if you were black, though.
So, what do you want me to say?
Just say whatever you want.
Okay, well, I thought the game was really boring, and your sister was really annoying, and I wasn't a big fan of the lesbian thing.
What the fuck?
What?
You can't say that on the internet!
What?
I can't let you leave here now! Whoa! What the fuck? Ah! You fucking bitch! I'm gonna fucking kill you! Where do you think you're going?
I'm going home!
I'm gonna get you, you bitch! I'm gonna fucking kill you!